After the 5-month-long shenanigans which followed the March 2, 2020 general and regional elections in Guyana, government pledged to facilitate a change of the country's electoral processes, better known as electoral reform. In so doing, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal commenced the first leg of public consultations on the draft proposed amendments of the Representation of the People Act at his office on Monday last. The discussions were held with the Private Sector Commission, the Electoral Reform Group, among other bodies that submitted recommendations for the amendments. A week later, the APNU+AFC is publicly registering disapproval with the consultation efforts being undertaken by the Attorney General's chambers. The opposition is contending that the government's approach totally avoids any consideration of major constitutional, statutory, administrative, operational, and technological reforms and should be more comprehensive. General Secretary of the People's National Congress Reform and a Member of Parliament Geeta Chandan Edmund underscored that a comprehensive electoral reform must rest on 4 pillars, which includes a thorough review by GCOM of its performance in managing the last electoral process and national consultations involving the public, civil society, and the parliamentary political parties.
The plethora of faults and irregularities intended and unintended in the 2020 elections alone must not be brushed under the carpet to resurface again. They must be swept out for good. To achieve this, a thorough and honest review must be conducted as necessary, and we are advocating that this is the first step. Here we agree with GCOM Commissioner Vincent Alexander that GCOM itself must not conduct such a review, but should be the one to commission it.
Additionally, the opposition holds the view that experts on electoral systems, elections technologies, and elections management should be deeply involved in these consultations. Further, they anticipate that electoral reform will require both constitutional and statutory amendments. The party says it will formally register its calls for a comprehensive electoral reform within a genuine national consultation process with President Irfan Ali.
We have indicated that what we will do is present a formal position on this issue. We have listened to civil society. We have had internally our preparation of a document that will be discussed when we engage GCOM and the wider society.
The draft proposed amendments of the Representation of the People Acts were released by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance in November 2021, inviting recommendations and comments from the public. Meanwhile, with regard to consultations and constitutional appointments at the service commissions, the opposition, through its shadow Minister of Legal Affairs, Royce Ilford, claims that the process has not been in accordance with the requirements of meaningful consultation. The appointments cover the Integrity, Judicial Service, and Police Service Commissions and persons proposed by the President to be appointed to the Teaching Service Commission.
Article 232 of the Constitution provides on consultation or meaningful consultation that it was incumbent on the person or entity responsible for seeking consultation to A. Identify the persons or entities to be consulted and specify to them in writing the subject of the consultation and an intended date for the decision on the subject of consultation. The Constitution contemplates by its definition of consultation and meaningful consultation that there will be full, effective, and genuine consultation as opposed to formal and unproductive engagements.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norton received a letter dated April 29th under the hand of Gil Teixeira, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, inviting him to a meeting with the President to consult on several constitutional appointments on Friday, May 13th, 2022 at the office of the President. The leader of the opposition reportedly pointed out that the communication received to date by Teixeira in respect to the proposed consultations were all vague, woefully inadequate, and insufficient to significantly advance the consultative process envisioned and provided for in the relevant constitutional and statutory provisions. On May 12, 2022, the President agreed to provide further information, that is, the curriculum vitae of persons being recommended by the President to be appointed to the commissions. To date, according to Ford, the material and grounds on which the recommendations of persons for appointments to the constitutional and statutory commissions remain with the President. Hence, the consultation process has not been in accordance with the requirements of meaningful consultation. Timeka Rodney reporting for the HGP Nightly News.